It is on. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2, November 15th, 2025. Signed, sealed, and has been made. And we're ready for it to be delivered. And my counterpunch to that is, it's no surprise to me, based on the first fight. Once we witnessed the first fight, we were convinced and we were gifted and blessed with a newborn classic. Okay, this was the type of fight that we never thought that the names would ever build up to the action, the hype behind this fight. It was a lot of animosity, you know, the backstory on top of the backstory, you know, the nostalgic presence in this fight between the fathers, and then the rivalry, I think authentically, with the sons because of the drug test with Conor Benn. And I think that built its own personal motivation for these guys to fight so hard. Conor Benn wanted to prove that he could still fight off the juice or clean. Chris Eubank Jr. wanted to show that he, you know, was upholding his father's name, even though his father, you know, and himself were not even talking. They weren't on speaking terms until, you know, people brought them together. A lot of people thought that was hype, but, you know, we were all surprised, bro. When that happened, when that took place, when you seen Chris Eubank Sr. open the door and he was there smiling, looking like Donatello, we already knew what time it was. And it was crazy. And it was like everything that happened, and it was a sold out crowd and everybody was entertained. And the fight, you know, we don't even talk about the loser as much as we talk about Belanga or Daniel Dubois, or, you know, a lot of these guys that just lost the fight. Because when you have back and forth action between two guys that really want to win, everyone wins. Okay, the fighters win, even though officially one of them has to lose unless it's a draw. And of course, the crowd, the audience, the fans, we all win. And because of that, they got to do it again. Bars. That's what I'm talking about. And this is what we have. So when we have negotiations that we're falling through, you best believe, based on everything that I explained about the fight briefly, the first fight, there was going to be an attempt to have another fight again. More negotiations were going to be stirred back up based on what we already know. And I'm glad it's going to happen, but I'm not surprised because the money's going to be there. You know, they're going to get more money this time. I think the fight's going to be just as good, hopefully. If, like, you know what I mean? It could, because I think that these guys don't know any other way but to go at each other. And Conor Benn taking his first loss to Chris Eubank, he's going to fight that much harder. And he's going to try his best to leave it all in the ring to ensure a decision this time. Because that's the Conor Benn, that's the Benn Eubank way, or the Eubank Benn way. You know, so I am glad that it's happened. The only question is, what weight class will it happen? That's my major concern, because that was Chris Eubank Sr.'s concern, you know, going into the last fight. Like, hey, my son Chris can't be draining all this weight. And then whatever happened to the penalty or the trouble that he was in for the tactics that he used to lose weight. So it's a weird deal. Okay, it's weird all the way around, but that, I guess, doesn't matter because they've decided to do the fight. And I think money talks and bullshit runs a marathon. But you guys tell me what you think of Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. deciding to do it again. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!